So in the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, they're now considering the assault weapons ban. Dianne Feinstein, of course, introduced it and is pushing for it. She wound up having a back and forth with Ted Cruz that she was not happy about. First, Ted Cruz comes in incredibly smugly to talk about this issue.
It seems to me that all of us should begin as our foundational document with the Constitution. And the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights provides that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The term, the right of the people, when the framers included it in the Bill of Rights, they used it as a term of art. That same phrase, the right of the people, is found in the First Amendment, the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition their government for redress of grievances. It's also found in the Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. And the question that I would pose to the senior senator from California is, would she deem it consistent with the Bill of Rights for Congress to engage in the same endeavor that we are contemplating doing with the Second Amendment in the context of the First or Fourth Amendment?
So now Ted Cruz is a former constitutional law professor. Now, so was Obama, and look at the trouble that got us in terms of the Constitution and civil liberties. But he thinks he's very clever, obviously, and he's like, oh, well, then would you limit the First Amendment? Well, Mr. Constitutional Law Professor, I would. For example, you cannot yell fire in a crowded theater. Touché. Look, there's reasonable regulation of all the different amendments. And if you watch the Young Turks at all, you know how much I guard all of those amendments, okay? But of course you can do reasonable regulation, and we have throughout our history on all of them. So now, Feinstein definitely did not like his tone. So here she comes back with a significant backhand.
Let me just make a couple of points in response. One, I'm not a sixth grader. Senator, I've been on this committee for 20 years. I was a mayor for 9 years. I walked in, I saw people shot. I've looked at bodies that have been shot with these weapons. I've seen the bullets that implode. In Sandy Hook, youngsters were dismembered. Look, there are other weapons. I've been I'm not a lawyer, but after 20 years, I've been up close and personal to the Constitution. I have great respect for it. This doesn't mean that weapons of war. It's fine you want to lecture me on the Constitution. I appreciate it. Just know I've been here for a long time. I've passed on a number of bills. I've studied the Constitution myself. I am reasonably well educated, and I thank you for the lecture. Incidentally, this does not prohibit, you use the word prohibit, it exempts 2,271 weapons. Isn't that enough for the people in the United States?
Mr. Chairman?
Do they need a bazooka? Do they need other high-powered weapons that military people use to kill in close combat? I don't think so. So I come from a different place than you do. I respect your views. I ask you to respect my views.
I think nobody doubts her sincerity or her passion. And yet at the same time, I would note that she chose not to answer the question that I asked.
Damn. All right, first of all, Feinstein came in like, did you say Constitution? Is that what you said? She came to regulate, man. She was not playing. And then Cruz is like, yeah, well, you didn't answer my question. No, it didn't look like she was in a mood to answer your specific question in that way that it was asked. Look, I already answered this question. She had 100 different ways of answering it, and she gave an answer. She said, look, I want to do reasonable regulation. You want to do no regulation. I'm already giving you over 2,000 different weapons you can choose from. Is it not reasonable, constitutionally, to say, hey, you can't have a bazooka, you can't have a rocket launcher, etc.? But nonetheless, this guy, man, he's unbearable. He's like the Joe Scarborough of politicians, like, you didn't answer my question. No, you didn't get the answer you wanted. You got her backhand, and you didn't seem to appreciate that. Well, I like that she went after him aggressively. So, and what happened in the end? Same thing that always happens. You think these people ever convince each other? No, they all know which way they're going to vote. I can't remember the last time a senator got up and said, hey, you know what? That was a really good point. I'm going to change my vote. I'm voting with you. Literally has never happened in my life. So what was the final vote? There was 10 Democrats on the committee. They all voted with Feinstein. There was 8 Republicans. They all voted with Cruz. So it goes out of committee 10-8, and likely will get filibustered by the Republicans and killed in the overall Senate. How do you like that debate in our democracy?